Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Lindsay Knox joins us. She's Vice President of Government Affairs and Advocacy for McDonald Carano. She's here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Story County is leading Nevada. Home of the Tahoe-Reno Industrial Center, Google, Tesla, Panasonic, and other world-leading companies. Story County provides thousands of tech, advanced manufacturing, and logistics careers for Nevadans. We're diversifying and driving Nevada's economy and generating millions in tax revenue and billions in economic activity across northern Nevada. Story County is leading Nevada's future.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday, trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always delighted to welcome back to the program Lindsay Knox. She is Vice President of Government Affairs and Advocacy for McDonald Carano. Pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Sam. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Let's start out with what a crazy couple of months we've had on the presidential side. First, we start out with the attempted assassination of former President Trump. Suddenly, it looks as though everything's going to lean his direction. The debate was awful, as everybody knows and acknowledges. Joe Biden decides he's going to stay in the race. I said to my wife, he's got 2 weeks before he's out. She said, why? I said, they'll cut off the money. It took 3.5 weeks, not 2 weeks, and that's what happened. And the amount of money turns out to be $500 million, which is stunning when you think of all the money that had already been raised. And then Biden steps down. We now have Kamala Harris. Let's get your thoughts on this historic just few weeks.
I would agree. It is very historic, and it is, I think, in true new DC fashion, the way this all happened. I would agree with you that after the attempted assassination of Trump, it really leaned toward Republicans, and I think that everyone saw, even in some blue states, losing some seats because of kind of his strength coming out of that. Of course, that did not last long because Trump does have some issues keeping his mouth shut. So I think that he lost a little bit, but the moment that Kamala came into this, I think the momentum shifted. But I think it's going to shift again when you cannot be interviewed and you will not go and talk to people. It is a struggle to maintain your voter base. So this is going to be a very interesting election. I think it truly is a toss-up between both. And we will see what happens in November and how it impacts our races here.
Well, let's start out as we dig in here with the fact that it was almost a coup on the Democratic side that instead of having perhaps 4 or 5 people, that there would be a mini primary that Kamala Harris, the vice president, who would have obviously been one of those people, was suddenly thrust into the spotlight, despite the fact that when she ran for president the last time around, she dropped out before it even really got going. Was it a coup, or is that just the way things are done?
That's a great question. I look at it more as a coup. I think that it is a disservice to the voters to not be able to pick their candidate. I'm not sure she would have gotten in because of her attachment to our current environment. So it is, I did not find it to be most favorable again for voters. So I am less inclined to think that it was not a coup that occurred.
It was interesting in the last week or so, right after or I guess in the last days of the Democratic convention, Jon Stewart, who does a one-day-a-week hosting of The Daily Show, which is, let's face it, a mostly liberal show, but one of the things I love about Jon Stewart is that he's an equal opportunity antagonist, and he put together a huge montage of what the Democratic convention was all about, and it came down to one word: joy. What was that all about?
It's interesting, Sam, because I have never actually watched a convention. However, I was at home after surgery and I watched part of it. And I would agree with them. It was joy, but that joy did not equate to policy or what you are going to do to help your voter base. So I, again, personally, was very disappointed in the way that it was done. But again, I have a very different view from the general public. But I do agree with him. It was very joyful, and you cannot take them away from it. But it definitely missed the mark on reaching the general public and their current circumstances.
And doesn't that come back into the general difference between regular advertising and marketing, which is where you're trying to sell a product to people that hopefully they will want or create a need for that product, versus campaigning, which is what conventions are, where you just create this thing out of whole cloth.
You are looking, it's a popularity contest. So you get all these famous celebrities who have followings, and that's what you got in both conventions. It was not
Sure.
the DNC, the RNC did the exact same thing. But yeah, it is a true popularity contest instead of looking at from like the consumer product, what is best, and having reviews. Having reviews on these two, I mean, they would, I think you'd get a lot of the same comments, pro and con. So it is again, I believe it's truly a disservice to our voter base.
All right, so now I don't usually watch debates. I have to admit that. What I usually do is read both sides' interpretation of debates and watch the clips after the fact, because I only have so much life left, and I'm not sure I'm willing to give up 90 minutes at a time to debates. But I did watch the Biden-Trump debate because I thought it would be historic, and of course it turned out to be. But do you feel that the first Harris-Trump debate will also be historic?
Oh, absolutely. You have two people that have not met. I believe that was stated last week that neither of them have actually met in person. So this will be the first time they meet. And I think it will be because I think that there are certain issues that come to the middle, the people in the middle that are very uncertain of Trump and of Harris, and their feet are going to be put to the fire on those middle issues. Trump is going to be put on fire for, abortion. She's going to be put on fire about inflation, and how they come about those answers is going to be key. And I think, again, her team, I'm sure, is working very diligently on her interviewing skills. At least I hope they are. And they're probably doing the same for Trump to make sure that he stays within his purview and doesn't go out, on a limb like he normally does. So I think it will be very historic in the way that, in the way that they answer questions, because this is a very important election, even more so based off of our current, situation in this country.
I think that one of the things that'll be interesting to watch is that Donald Trump has been brilliant in debates by using wrestling metaphors, essentially, to be able to attack his opponents, calling them names. If anybody's familiar with boxing and wrestling, they will know that that is part of the setup for these events. In boxing, it would be the weigh-ins where they would all attempt to fight each other before they even got into the ring. And with wrestling, it was just part of the whole act, was yelling and screaming at each other. But in this case, Harris is a former prosecutor, former attorney general. She is no slouch when it comes to dealing with these kind of scenarios. How do you think this is going to play out?
I think Trump will have to dig deeper and get nastier to do that. But if I remember correctly, the rules, the mics are going to be cut off. And of course, he can, yell over the mic. But we've also seen her in prior, debates. She has not done well. So as a former prosecutor and looking at her in former debates, and I'm like you, Sam, I'm a highlight person. I read, I don't have time, just like you, to sit and watch debates. I'm a busy parent. I don't have time for that stuff. But she has her work cut out for her, regardless if she was a prosecutor or not. She has not performed. And again, Trump pulls out the bully, and he knows how to do it. He does it very effectively. So she has her work cut out for her, but if she can get in that mindset of, being in a courtroom, she'll give Trump a run for his money.
I think that the best advice I could give her is to hire James Carville to be her advisor, because nobody comes up with better lines than he does.
I would agree with you.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll come back and bring things more locally back to Nevada after this timeout.
You've worked hard all your life paying into Social Security. Now that's something to admire. But Sam Brown disagrees. In fact, Sam Brown was caught on tape calling a plan that could phase out Social Security and Medicare something to admire. That's what Brown said about eliminating the Social Security and Medicare hundreds of thousands of Nevadans rely on. There's nothing to admire about that. Sam Brown. Can't trust him to be for you. Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Lindsay Knox. She is the Vice President of Government Affairs and Advocacy for McDonald Carano. We need to talk about the United States Senate race here in Nevada. The Senate obviously is so close in terms of numbers. Jackie Rosen, at the end of serving her first term, I thought going back to the early days of hers in the Senate, where she supported the Abraham Accords, that would be a massive thing to run on if it indeed had worked out well. Sadly, it has not, obviously. And I'm not sure, beyond lowering the cost of insulin, exactly what she's running on. Sam Brown never held elective office. Second time running for the United States Senate, losing in the primary the last time around. How do you rate the race at this point in time?
I think, we're a very purple state. I mean, we saw that in the last election cycle with Lombardo winning, and then, really down ticket Democrats winning, other than Andy Matthews. So I see Jackie pulling it out, and I think it's a lot of name recognition. I think Sam has done well being on both sides of the state. I actually saw him today on my way to Vegas. But, she's really coming out with housing. Is kind of her big thing now. She has been trying to assist in one of the lands bills. She's sponsoring or co-sponsor of a bill dealing with our housing issue back in DC. I think it was introduced last month. So I think that's going to be a big piece, and I think that's a big hit in Nevada right now is the housing market. So that could coincide with a lot of votes. But I do think it is a toss-up. And maybe it is more party line, whether you're going with Trump or with Harris. We've always been pretty good at looking at the candidates in this state and getting relatively purple. But this could lead to who you are associated with. You could definitely lose votes. And I think Jackie is working hard. Again, I think she's mostly down here. Probably would like to see her some up north. But I think it truly is topped up in that seat.
Where do you think inflation plays into this? Because that's the number one thing I hear about is the grocery store inflation.
I think it is huge. There was conversation in my household that lunch meat costs $9. Lunch meat should not cost $9, and it lasts 2 days. So I think it is going to be a very big piece of this election cycle, because it is hitting literally every level of society right now. Whether it's the inflation of the interest rates of homes, grocery stores, just being able to put your kids in school clothes or school supplies, it is hitting people. And when the middle class is struggling, the people in the lower class are even more impacted. So I see it as one of the largest, if not the largest issue in this election.
And yet politicians literally cannot do anything about it. And in fact, Kamala Harris backed off on price gouging by supermarket chains because that just doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's not reality.
Right. And she would have created a larger issue if she would have attempted to do something with that. And I think that lasted maybe 48 hours, that idea did. And you're right, they cannot control it, but they claim they can. And that's going to get votes.
The abortion issue in Nevada. Now, obviously, for those of us that follow these things, it is actually a settled issue in Nevada in the Constitution. But how much is it going to play in this election cycle, do you believe?
Oh, it's going to play massively in this election, because I don't think the general public, general voter, understands that it is a settled issue here. But I think on a broader scale, if abortion is a top priority for an individual, they are going to look at it from a national perspective. They are not going to look at it from a state perspective. Yes, Nevada is great. We have done it. It's dealt with. But they're looking at the people in Florida and Alabama. So they're looking for more of a national perspective than they are in their own backyard. And so I think that will drive a lot of individuals to keep that a top priority in the state.
Do you see any sign that this could be 2014 all over again, where there's a red wave, in part because people are staying home?
That is a great question, and I have thought about it a lot. If it could be a red wave, and
Yes, to say the least. Let's take one more break and we'll be right back.
Credit, him and his team, on the slate of candidates that he has endorsed. I've met with them, with every single one of them, and I will say the ones that I've met, I thoroughly have enjoyed. And with popular governor, maybe, but I don't see that being the case. Especially down in Las Vegas. I just don't see that as the direction that we are going. I think from the 14 election to the 24 election, social media has become even more popular in the way that these individuals promote themselves. That it is a very, very different type of time, and it will be a very different election than 14.
And how about the unions? They still play a massive role, especially in Southern Nevada.
I think the unions, you saw, Culinary go out against Senator Rochelle Wynn and go for some open seats. So I think that, there's still some separation in that. SEIU is always very powerful. So the unions have a very large voice. Now, what their members do, I think they most of the time follow suit, but they down here they play a massive role, and you see that in the Linda Hunt, yes, in her race. Michelle Montgomery was endorsed by the caucus, and that was a huge upset. And Culinary backed her, and so they are well-oiled machine.
They want us to believe we only have two options. That's just not working anymore. I've never been a follower. I'm a businessman and entrepreneur. I'm ready to forge a new path to secure our future, one that keeps Northern Nevada free, fair, and wild. A path that means freedom for all, including affordable housing.
I'm Greg Kidd, and I approve this message because I'm not from either political party. I'm for Nevada.
Come celebrate Tamarack Casino's 23rd anniversary with $50,000 in giveaways this September. $5,000 big cash winners every Saturday, and a $10,000 big cash winner during the grand finale celebration on September 28th. Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the air conditioning back on today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why sweat for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your air conditioning fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today. That's 323-5585, or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
Welcome to the Winnemucca Big R.
Hi, I'm John Walker. Welcome to Big R Lovelock.
Hi, I'm Rich Martin. Welcome to Fallon Big R.
My name is Braden. Welcome to Big R Fernley.
Hi, I'm Kelly. Welcome to Big R Sparks.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Lindsay Knox. She's the Vice President of Government Affairs and Advocacy for McDonald Carano. You brought up Governor Lombardo and his slate of candidates. It's interesting, once again, that the Republican Party, the state Republican Party, is a mess. A disaster would be a kind way of looking at it. And so you have a secondary Republican Party headed by the governor. Once again, will we ever get this fixed in this state?
I hope so. I hope so. It is so unfortunate. How I think the direction that the Republican Party has gone, especially in Nevada, whether that is, down in Las Vegas or rural communities or in Washoe. It's very concerning, and I think it turns a lot of people away from the Republican Party. But when you have Governor Lombardo, and somebody that truly he marches to the beat of his own drum outside of the Republican Party, and I think and his popularity hopefully drives more people to register Republican and or stay in the party. But yeah, it is so concerning of the direction that we've gone. But I think most people are very grateful. Moderates are grateful for Governor Lombardo and the work that he has done to kind of bring some normalcy to the party.
Do you think that the DMV registration, and we only have about 30 seconds here, with independents showing up as such a large group, that we're going to see a whole different thing after the election in terms of whether people are truly independents or Republicans and Democrats?
I think so, but I also see just the nonpartisans taking control. I think because the parties have drifted so far away that a lot of people just want to be in the middle, and they don't care if they can't vote in a primary. They just want normalcy, so they're going to stay in nonpartisan. And then some you'll see flip because they have, truly found their issues within the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. You'll see some switch, but I think a lot stay nonpartisan.
I always thank you for doing this. It is always a pleasure.
Thank you. For you.
Thank you. And we'll be right back.
Hit the open road on a brand new Harley or win a bundle of cash during the $250,000 Harley-Davidson giveaways at Carson Valley Inn. Thousands in weekly giveaways, plus multiple grand prize winners including cash and 7 brand new Harleys. Now at the Carson Valley Inn.
Here on 7 at 7, we're bringing you the local headlines in just 7 minutes.
We've got you covered in the morning, evening, and for all breaking news in between and as it happens.
Life is busy, and we don't waste your time. Join us for local news now streaming on our YouTube page.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers. We'll see you on the next broadcast.